Hi, I'm Kendall Coffee, and I'm applying to your camp. So, a few things about me. I was born and raised in Lafayette, California, where I grew up running cross country and track for most of my life. And then in the summers, I would swim on a swim team. So, that was kind of my thing in high school. But now I am currently enrolled in the University of Oregon, where I am a sophomore and majoring in environmental studies. So, yeah, that's me. And a little bit about my family. I was brought up in a very active, outdoorsy oriented family. Um, so basically, I grew up going camping and hiking, and my family owns a cabin in Truckee. So I was actually really stoked when I saw that that was nearby where Walton's is, because I absolutely love that area, and it's my favorite place in the world. And I know it pretty well too, so I was really excited about that. And basically, I've just grown up going there, and winter and summer, my whole life. So that's pretty cool that um, you guys are in that area because I think it's like the prettiest place in the world. So yeah. And also, I have a little sister who is 8 years younger than me, which is a pretty big age gap. So because I'm 20 years old and she's in middle school, so um, it's kind of crazy that we're that far apart in age, but we're actually super close still, and we get along really well. And I think having such a younger sister has actually made me is one of the reasons that I love um, kids and being around them. So yeah, that's me and my family. And okay, so 5 words someone used to describe me. For sure, patient. Um, Rarely do I ever get frustrated or like lose my cool. Definitely just a very patient person. Second word would be accepting. I am not a judgmental person at all, and yeah, I'm yeah not judgmental. Third would be outdoorsy. I love doing like planning weekend trips to go hike or camp or do whatever. Especially up here in Oregon, there's so many cool like waterfalls and hikes and trails and lakes too, to go explore. So usually me and my friends will plan trips during the week, and then on the weekends we'll go and try to do day trips or sometimes overnighters and stuff around here. So that's cool. And also, oh, laid back. Definitely a very go with the flow, easygoing person. Um, and what was my last one? Sorry, I made a little cheat sheet here. Oh, and I have integrity. So yes, I think those are the 5 things someone would describe me as being. Yeah, there's that. And okay, yes, I have worked at a camp, and I have also been a camper. So I started out as a camper, obviously, and I went to mountain camp, which is in Pollock Pines or near Pollock Pines. And I went there as a kid and absolutely loved it. I had the best summers of my life. And that is what sort of inspired me to be a camp counselor in the first place. So just last summer, I applied to work at Mountain Camp as a counselor, and I got it, and I went there for most of the summer, and I had an amazing summer. It was just the best summer. It was the best summer of my life, and honestly, like I couldn't even decide like what's more fun, being a camper or a counselor. Like they're both such great experiences, and which is obviously why I want to do it again this summer. So that's why I'm applying again, but to your camp this time, because I decided that since I grew up going to mountain camp and had already been a counselor there, I kind of wanted to try something new and see what else is out there because that's all I know. So I was researching camps. I came across yours and I immediately fell in love. So here I am now. So yeah, there's that. Okay, so working with children. So I kind of went over this in the application already, but I'll say it again. I started out being a swim coach when I was in high school. So every summer I would work at the pool that I swam at, and basically I was an assistant coach and just working with kids of all ages, anywhere from like 4 to 14, I think. Yeah, 4 to 14 were the age groups that I worked with, and I did that for a bunch of years. And then I started coaching cross country at a local middle school, which I also really loved, and I ended up like loving working with the middle school aged kids. And I thought that that was my favorite age group ever, like sixth or eighth grade. Like I loved them. And then that kind of like changed when I started working at Mountain Camp. When I got there, they were like, "We need you to work with the younger kids, like the 7, 8, 9 year olds." And I was kind of like a little nervous to work with them because I know they need a lot more, what's it called, like guidance and like telling them how to like take care of themselves and what to do. And so I was a little bit nervous about that. And then I ended up falling in love with that age group, and I didn't want to. And the directors were like, "Okay, do you want to work with any other age groups? Like, we have some openings." And I was like, "Honestly, I love this age group." Like, I was nervous at first, but I ended up really liking it. So, pretty much, I could do middle school, younger. I haven't really worked with that many like older kids past like 12 years old. I haven't really worked with, but I would definitely be down to try it and see what it's like, because I wasn't sure about the 7 year olds and I ended up loving it. So I'm really down to try anything, any age group. So yeah. Okay. So some characteristics that I think I possess that make me a good counselor. Um, okay, I think that to be a good camp counselor, you have to have sort of a balance between being the fun, goofy counselor, but also being strict when you have to be, and keeping everybody in order. And I think that I have a pretty good balance of that, because I know like there's a time when there's a time to let the kids run around and do their activities and be the fun counselor and engage them, but then there's also time when you need to get the kids ready for bed and you have to keep them on their time, like to keep them in the right, like so that they're on time for bed or for campfire or whatever. And so there's certain times when you have to be strict in that. So sometimes it's not easy. You want to be the fun counselor all the time, but you have to realize that their parents aren't there to tell them what to do, and so sometimes you need to step up and sort of take that authoritative role. And I think that I have a good balance of that. Also, another characteristic is that I think I'm a pretty approachable person. And I think that's really important because these kids are probably nervous. They're away from home. Sometimes they're by themselves. And, as a camp counselor, the kids really look up to us. And we need to set a good example and not be intimidated. We don't want them to be intimidated by us. So being approachable is really important because the kids are probably scared, and if they need anything or they're homesick or whatever, I want them to come and talk to me about it and not be intimidated. So yeah, let's see, what's the next one? My last place that I worked. So I went over this a little bit, but I worked at Mountain Camp last summer, and basically it was just same position I'm trying to be at your camp, just a camp counselor, a regular one. And for the most part, I worked waterfront because it was on a lake. So my two main things I did was waterfront and ropes course, and those are my two favorites. So pretty much lifeguarding. There was a water trampoline there too, so I would work on the water trampoline, or we had stand-up paddleboarding, kayaking, tubing, pretty much just like general recreational swimming, that sort of thing. So that's what I did a lot. And then ropes also. I mostly belayed kids up the climbing wall and up on some elements. And then I did a bunch of other activities too, but those were like my two main ones. And they're my two favorites too. So yeah. Okay, so if I can make a suggestion to management, I honestly thought really hard about this question, and I really could not think of anything. I had a fantastic experience working at Mountain Camp. I thought everything was great, and I really don't have any complaints or suggestions for them. Yeah, I mean, I honestly don't. It was great. They were great. So yeah. And let's see. Okay, what is the most important thing I'm looking for in an employer? Okay, I guess sometimes with me personally, like if I have a question or something. Sometimes I get a little nervous to ask like someone that's in charge or like my boss or something. So I guess what I would want from an employer is it kind of goes back to being approachable. I just want them to be approachable and easy to talk to, and that will make me feel a lot better about coming up and not feeling like I have a stupid question or something like that. So yeah, that's what I would be looking for in an employer. And okay, my experience working and playing outdoors. So I guess I kind of already said this a little bit, but camp wise, definitely waterfront. That was like my main thing, and then the ropes course. And then I love hiking, camping. Been doing that my whole life, but I didn't start doing anything climbing related, like ropes or climbing wall, any of that, until last summer. So I'm not as experienced in that, but would love to be trained in that more if I were hired, because I thought that was like one of the coolest activities. So I have obviously waterfront down, but there's definitely other activities I would love to learn as well. I was looking at your activities, and some of them seemed really cool, and I would love to be trained in them. So yeah, okay. And then how I feel about being away for the summer. I want to be away from the summer because I personally get bored if I stay home. Like the summer before last summer, I stayed home the whole summer working at home, and I was really bored and felt like I wanted to go somewhere, but I couldn't go anywhere because I was working. So this job is pretty much the best of both worlds. Like I get to go be somewhere, be in this beautiful place, but I'm also working, and it worked out perfectly for me last year, and I was totally fine with being away from home, and I know how to handle it. So this summer, yeah, I'm really excited for the summer and to be away from home. Okay, so I do have one question though about your camp. So I don't know if you know, but Oregon is on the quarter system. So that means we get out a little bit later than most schools, which could coincide with your training before camp. I know that you guys started, I think it was the 14th of June was your first session to the 20th. I can't remember exactly. But we get out of school like right around that time, around the 14th. But my only question would be, I'm not sure how you do training process. Like if I was late coming up to do training, would that be okay? Because I know at mountain camp, they made an exception and they were like, come when you can, we'll train you when you get here. And I got there and I didn't know anything about ropes, and they were like, we need you to do ropes. They trained me in it, and I was able to do it the rest of the summer. So even though I missed the training session, I was still able to learn something new and teach that activity. So even if I do have to miss training because of school, because of finals week, I won't know exactly what my week is yet until next term. Like when I have my classes, I won't know what my final schedule is yet. So I can't say exactly when I'll be out. But yeah, so that's my only question. Sorry, that was kind of a long, drawn out explanation. But yeah, basically, just how do you feel about that if I had to miss some of training is my question, the bottom line. So yeah. Okay, and then the number one reason I want to work at Walton's Grizzly Lodge is because I had the best summer of my life last summer, working at mountain camp, meeting amazing people, working with like some of the coolest and best kids like I've ever met, and learning new activities and living in a beautiful place. And I think I can get all of that and more at Walton's. And if I didn't truly believe that, I would apply to work at mountain camp again. And so yeah, those are all the main reasons I want to work at Walton's. And okay, activities. So I wrote down, let me see. Okay, so I looked at your activities and I wrote down all the ones that I had done at mountain camp. So these are ones that you have that I've also done before. Arts and crafts, climbing wall, ropes course, slingshot, stand-up paddleboarding, swimming, water trampoline, and yes, that's all. So those are the ones that I've already been trained in at a different camp and know how to do. But on top of that, I was looking at some of your other ones like gold panning, which I don't really know anything about, but I thought that sounded really cool. So like, if you need someone to do that, I would love to be trained in that. Or sports, more like sports and games type stuff. I did at mountain camp also. So like, I saw you had basketball. I could totally lead that, or just other like sports like that. So those are some of the activities. But for the most part, it really was waterfront and lifeguarding that I did a lot. And that was my favorite too, that and ropes. So, but I also would like to be as well rounded as possible. So I want to come to these camps and take advantage of all the activities that are there. Like, why wouldn't I want to learn something new? Like, even though I'm not a camper, it doesn't mean I can't, learn something new too while I'm there. So that's kind of how I look at the whole situation. So yeah, and let's see. Okay, so what I think I will contribute to camp if I'm hired, I think I will contribute my down to earth attitude, my love of the outdoors, and just like my friendships with other counselors and kids, because I feel like that is the most important part about being a camp counselor is connecting with the kids and making sure that they have the best experience possible. And my job is to make sure that that happens. And so that's what I want to contribute or the most is just the connections that I will hopefully make with the kids and make their experience as a camper as great as the experiences that I had as a camper. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I hope you enjoyed the video and I hope to hear from you soon. All right, thank you.